So we got some automatic waterers from QC Supply. These things are going to make life much simpler. We've done one batch of chickens with the hanging 5-gallon bucket with the chicken nipple waterers on the bottom. So you just drill 3 to 5 holes in the bottom of a 5-gallon bucket, and then you put these little nipples in there, and they're 360-degree nipples, so they just tap them on the side or something, water drips down into their mouth. That's how they drink. So they're great. The only problem is they hang over here. They hang from a line by this. So when you want to open them up to fill them, because we want them to be sealed for the most part so that they don't grow a whole bunch of nasty stuff inside, you got to open up the lid. And then, of course, if you got 5 gallons of water in there, you get something going on like this, and you can't just put the lid back on. I've mounted this board here to the outside of the chicken tractor. I'm going to put a hook there. 5-gallon bucket's going to hang here. Down below, we've got a line that will feed out to 6 chicken water nipples. Will be hanging on a PVC pipe that line will go to, so they will always have water right there every time they need it, whenever they need it. And for us, when we have to refill this thing, there's a hole drilled here. I've got this, I think it's called a bunk hole. This just goes in here. This is going to screw on the other side. So when we need to fill this, there's a 1.5-inch plug here that we can remove, and then we just drop a hose in there. That way we don't have to walk inside here, you know, get our shoes covered with muck, and you know how chickens are. It's nasty. And we can just stand out here, unscrew this, drop a hose in there, fill her up, screw this back on, like so, and we're good to go. Finally got all the pieces that we need for this water system. We're gonna get these buckets washed real good. They're new buckets, but I just wanna make sure that there's no bacteria or anything that's gonna kickstart some big crazy growth bloom of algae or something in these. So we're gonna get these washed up, get them all hooked up, and hopefully before dark we will be ready to go. We'll get one hooked up here and show you before it gets too dark, and we should be able to get the other 2 done before it gets completely dark. Okay, we don't need this anymore, so we'll take this down. There's a great big old garden spider up here. They're pretty much harmless. They're just very pretty. Alright, so we're gonna see how this works once it's got water in it, how heavy it is. I just hung it on the chicken wire on either side with the chain. I think that should hold it. We'll see. I mean, we're only talking, you know, several ounces of water is going to be in this. This is a 1/2-inch PVC pipe, maybe 3/4 inch at the most. Now, they're going to need to hang lower. So I'm going to get the bucket hung on the outside. That's just a simple, I've got a simple hook screw, and it's going to put that up into the board and then connect the line up to the bucket. So another thing that I like to do when I'm hanging a bucket is I want to bend it so it's got a little bend right there where I want it to stay. Because otherwise these buckets, they'll slip to the side, you know, one side or the other. That's just how they are. But if you've got that bend there, they'll always stay right there. It's all gravity fed, so of course the bucket needs to be high above everything else, and we don't want any little bends going up. So I'll get my little attachment there. Got an S-washer. You've got a rubber seal here, and of course you've got your 1/4-inch adapter to 5-gallon bucket. Screw this up in there with a 1/2-inch hole down there. Now, I'm not sure if you can do more than hand tighten these. Alright, so when you get these from QC Supply, they have 2 of these clasps all the way down here on this end. The reason for that is because one of these you slide up and you use when you connect it up here. Very low PSI, so it's not like, it's going to be very unlikely that you're going to get water coming back out. So just get this on as far as you can. Okay, that is really tight. If water gets through that, I'll just be impressed. I won't even be mad. There we go. So that's connected. Now for the lid. Alright, that's not going anywhere. The nice thing about these is they've got a silicone seal both on the plug. It's going to be real embarrassing if I get back in there and I'm like, that's not a bunk hole. Let's look it up right now, actually. Haha! Bulkhead fitting. So just ignore every time I've said bunk hole. Have yourself a good chuckle. This is a bunk head, or a bulkhead. Not a bunk. This is a bulkhead fitting. Let's turn this valve until you see water sitting in this valve. Oh, I can hear it. So that's going to fill up until we see water in this valve. There it is. All right, so we got water all the way up there. That means these guys are now going to drip. Automatic waterer that we can fill from the outside, 5 gallons, and these guys, they go through a lot of water. This batch over here could go through 5 gallons in 24 hours, so, and that was with only 25 of them in each of the tractors. 25 of them would go through 5 gallons of water in 24 hours or less. And this is not heavy at all. That weighs, 3-4 pounds maybe. So that's going to be no problem hanging from the chicken wire. Yeah, and I think they'll be able to get to that and drink. So there we go, and now it's dark. So we will finish these other 2 up, but that's basically it. Hang a bucket on the outside by a hook. I added this 2x6 on there. It's actually 2x5, 5.5 rough cut lumber. Hang a bucket, run a line, PVC pipe. You want to make your life really simple, get these from QC Supply. You'll probably spend about this much or twice as much on these, and unless you're a good plumber, you're gonna have leaks. And I see no leaking. I know these pieces are pretty expensive, so I paid, they've got a length of 4 and a length of 6 chicken water nipples. This comes completely put together, ready to go. This one with 6 for 39 bucks. Can't beat that. And it comes with everything except the bucket for a $12 bulkhead fitting and a, let's say, $4 bucket. We have now a very simple system that is going to make life much easier. Chicks and ducks, they're always making a mess of their water. So we're gonna make life a lot easier. Before we get the next batch of chicks in, I'm gonna install those in the brooders that they're going in.